Hello everybody and welcome to this showcase slash tutorial on PowerPoint Zoom. Just in case if you guys didn't know, PowerPoint Zoom is the newest feature to hit PowerPoint, and personally it's one of my favorites. It is a completely new way of presenting. PowerPoint gives us a great linear PowerPoint with lots of cool effects, but PowerPoint Zoom allows us to do whatever we want. We can go sideways, up and down into our presentations. We no longer have to go slide by slide by slide. We can choose what we want to do. And I'll showcase that right now. So we see right here we have the Earth right here, and then we have a few planets surrounding Earth. And actually each one of these planets is a different slide. So as you can see right off the bat, this layout that we have here contains 5 slides, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slides. So we have our main landing page right here. We have the moon and all these different planets. So there's 6 slides contained on this one slide. And so instead of having to hit next, 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 next to go through 6 slides, we have that all right here in front of us. And I'll showcase that right now. So let's say we wanted to go on the moon. We see our little cursor change to a hand. We click on that and we see that zoom effect. You can see here you need a pretty high resolution image, because if you're zooming in a lot, then you see it kind of gets a little funky. This image that you see here is a 16K resolution image, so depending on how far you zoom is depending on how big you will need the file to be. So if I click next, we'll see the text pop up. The moon, amazing piece of rock that orbits our beautiful Earth. And this is our slide about the moon, and we can, have other slides contained on that as well. Let's do another one. Let's go to Neptune. Here we go. It's zooming in. There we are. And then we can have our text or other things pop up right here. So going back, this is a really cool way of presenting, and depending on the type of presentation you're doing, this may or may not be applicable to you, but PowerPoint Zoom is always applicable no matter what the situation. It doesn't have to be this kind of layout that you see here, but PowerPoint Zoom will spice up and increase the attention from your audience, but also make it easier for you to review items, and I'll show that to you right now. So let's exit out here. Let's go to a presentation right here. So you see we have a mock presentation with dummy text in there. Okay, to showcase this, PowerPoint Zoom is located under Insert and Zoom, and we click on that. You see there's 3 different kinds of zooms. We have Summary Zoom, Section Zoom, and Slide Zoom. Summary Zoom is dependent on sections. So as you see here, we don't have any sections in our presentation, but Summary Zoom will insert those sections for us based on the slides we choose. So if I wanted to I click that. I see, okay, title slide is a section, so we have 2 there. Outline slide is a section. Objective outline is a section. Module title is a section. We have all these different sections that we can create section headers, or the first slide in a section. So we click those. Oh, excuse me. Go conclusion, review, and this "you're awesome" at the end. So we say insert. So as we see here, Summary Zoom automatically includes and inserts a summary section with the slides that we chose in our Summary Zoom. So we see here's a section with title slide options right here, and then there's section 2, and it goes all the way down. And we see here they're all located right here, and I'll show you what that does. So if we say present, start presenting, here's our summary section. All these are clickable. So let's do module title option. I'll zoom in. Of course, this is the first slide that we picked, but if we have multiple slides under that section, it will, as you see, go to that next one. And once we're done with that section, it'll bring us back to the summary page, summary slide. So let's say cycle process option. So we have this first one. All those animations will happen. We hit next. We have our next slide here. We click, and because that section is over, it'll bring us back to this summary section. And hopefully that's all straightforward. The next one we have is here. I'm just going to delete this summary section because I'm done showcasing the summary zoom. But it will not delete the section names. So it keeps all your sections that it created for you. So the next zoom is section zoom. And section zoom will not insert sections for you, but it's based on your already pre-inserted sections. So because summary zoom inserted sections for us, we can now click on section zoom. So let's say on title slide option 2, I wanted to insert a section zoom. Let's say I think module title options is a good thing to review here or talk about. So we say insert. That inserts right there. We start our presentation. Here's our slide. And if we click outside of this box, it'll go on to the next slide. But if we go back and click on module title option, see the cursor changes. Click on that, zooms in, displays the 2 slides that are under that section, then brings us back out. So this is really, I'm going to delete this. This is really helpful if you're at the end of a presentation and you're at your review slide. So let's just say we select all these, delete those, and then we can insert a section zoom that we want to review before we finish our presentation. So let's say we wanted to talk about the title slide options. We can put that here. We can move this text over and say just as a review, and of course you can add animations to these zooms so it can come in as a bolded text, fly in from the bottom. So just as a review, we want to review this section. We go in, it displays here. I'm just going to cycle through these quickly. Displays all the slides in that section, brings us back out. We click outside of that box, and it takes us to the end of our presentation. And as I said, that is not the most authentic way of doing it, but it is showing us a different way to review instead of having just, did not want to do that. Just having simple text is a way to do a review, but why not have a hotspot that links to a different section and have a cool animation that shows us that section. Okay, now we're going to talk about the slide zoom. Slide zoom simply links to one slide, and it doesn't show us just sections in here, but it shows us every slide that is in the presentation. So let's say you're awesome. We want to go to there. And this is the last slide in the presentation. So again, when we click outside, it doesn't go to that hotspot. But if we go back and click on that, it'll zoom in and show us that slide. And then I click next. And because it was the last slide in the presentation, it ended the presentation. It didn't take us back to this title slide option 2. So that is slide zoom. If you want to just jump forward or jump back, you can add those hotspots depending on what you're wanting to do. There is a feature in here though. If you click on this hotspot, go up to Format, you can click up here in the top left hand corner, Return to Zoom. And we'll see what that does. So originally it took us out of the presentation because it's the last slide. So we click on here, does all the animations. We click next, and it brought us back to this page. So as we see, slide zoom does a lot of the same things as summary zoom. Here, let's show. Does the same things as section zoom and summary zoom. They all do the same thing with little bits of features, or I should say, there's features in each and every one of these that make these more applicable in different situations. The one I've seen be the most helpful is the section zoom. I've seen that is really helpful in reviewing content with the audience. So now let's talk about how to edit these slides. We go up to these hotspots. Sorry. If we go up to Format, we see there's all these zoom styles that we have here. We can change the look. I like that one. We can change the look of our slide zoom. If we go up to zoom effects, we can even do rotations. So based on where you're putting it on your slide, you can have a different perspective. I really like the reflections. Let's have that reflect like that. Bring this up a little bit. And let's actually rotate that a little bit. We'll see what kind of effect that gives us in our zoom. Let's change the duration so it doesn't go fast. Let's make that 4 seconds so we can see what the zoom is actually doing. So if we go into this, oh, look at this. This is kind of cool with the reflection. And be aware that you can click on the reflection to go into that hotspot. See, that's pretty cool. It takes us back out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the possibilities are literally endless with this. You can do whatever you want based on the needs of your presentation. So if we go, for example, if we go back, we got all these slides with different speeds and different zoom effects and rotations that create a cool transition while zooming. But as you see here, this moon is all black, and if I drag it over here on top of Earth, you can see Earth and this black box. So if you look over here underneath these thumbnails, we got the moon and a black box, which we see here, but we don't see the white background. That is because of a feature called zoom background. So if we right click on any of our zoom hotspots, you can see zoom background is checked. If I uncheck that, you see it will show the background of the actual slide. So if we want to use this landing page's background, so the Earth's background, we right click and say zoom that background, and it will. And that is applied to all of these planets right here. And it can also be applied to this presentation zoom right here. So we click zoom background. You see it gets rid of some of the effects because those are our background images that it's erasing. But you see here, it kind of creates a cool simplistic design. We click on here. The animation pops up. Voila. If we go back here, oops, sorry. If we go back here, you might notice that I'm putting a black box over something. Why is this black box here? If you go back to this, you see that there's actually white text that pops up. PowerPoint, in PowerPoint Zoom, it zooms the whole content of the slide, whether it initially shows or not. So if there's a transition where the moon comes up from the bottom, because the moon ends right here, it will show the moon. Same with the text. Because the text is right here, even if you do a fade in after I click, it will still show that text because that's where it's going to end up. So I got around that on this easy black background by putting a black box over the text. So you see here, the black box works in line with the background and covers that text. And all I did was, after I click in this presentation, in this slide specifically, that this box would fade out, showing that white text that you can't see on this white background, but you can see in contrast with this black background. So there's many things, many workarounds that you can do with PowerPoint Zoom. Again, as I said previously, the possibilities are literally endless. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.